I'm Deb from Occupy. Prior to April 7th, Reoccupy law enforcement said it was going to ramp up with RNC-like capabilities. We want to know first, is the Minneapolis Police Department working with SANIC and the Homeland Security Fusion Center to target and attack occupiers? And secondly, I want to ask, why are tents and structures at the plaza being treated differently with political content than it is for corporations who say tents and structures are all similar?
First off, I'm very glad you raised what you had heard. I am the mayor of Minneapolis. If anybody was going to hear that and it would be a directive to our police, I would have heard it. I've heard none of that. Chief Stanek is not in charge of public safety in the city of Minneapolis. I am the mayor. Chief Dolan is in charge of that. Did I sound chief?
What about Homeland Security? Homeland Security.
We know nothing of that. Yeah, that's the entire. We are in charge of public safety in the city, and so I'm very glad you raised that. But that is not something.
They're not involved at all.
I have absolutely no knowledge whatsoever of what you talked about. There's no discussion about that. There was a discussion way back about there were a few mayors involved in conversations about Occupy Together. I wasn't part of any of those either. Okay, we in Minneapolis are going to deal with this with folks in Minneapolis.
What about the structure?
The second thing is on the issue of tents in general. I've been very clear from the beginning that we have a no camping ordinance in the city. It's one that we've enforced across the board. If I was going to break the camping ordinance for anyone, it would be for homeless people in their city.
Then do it.
I don't in this city think a tent is a viable place for a homeless person to live. I work on a lot of homeless issues, and that's not what we're going to do. The fact of the matter is, I spend a lot of time looking for housing for people in need, and we're going to continue to do it in a way that's permanent. So we have a no camping ordinance. I was real clear to folks, and I spent a lot of time out on the plaza when you're out here saying, we love having you here, you are allowed to express yourself, and frankly, you can say what you want in the city of Minneapolis. If this is a debate about camping, I think it's more important to take that to REO.
Or no, I think Michael was next.
Oh, Michael?
And then Bobby. So we only have a few minutes left, so let's keep it very quick, please.
I'll make this real quick. No, I'm not going to insinuate that Mayor Archie Rybak and Chief Dolan are lying. I do know that everything they said is untrue, completely total untruth. Mr. Mayor, the Civilian Review Authority was set up in this town to deal with the issue of police brutality, and your actions, sir, directly gutted that institution. Directly and personally, you yourself, Mr. Mayor. And this gentleman here is supposed to help gut that institution.
Well, I'll say the Civilian Review Authority has been a real donkey road, and it's not something that I think is at its stage where it needs to be. I've been working for months, however, with our Civil Rights Director and Chief Dolan on restructuring that. In the middle of all of that, yeah, I mean, quietly, so we could get it done right and then bring it out.
Without the knowledge of the CRA itself.
The idea is that we're trying to come up with a better process. In the middle of that, the legislature chose to come in and invalidate all of it. That kind of blindsided me, but we'll continue to work on it. We do have a Civilian Review Authority. It needs to have more credibility. We've known that for a long time. We're working on that. So I can stand up and say what we've done well. I can stand up and say we've tried. I can stand up and say where we have challenges. And I think the Civilian Review Authority is one where we have had challenges, and in its whole history there have been challenges. I'm committed to trying to keep making it better.
Okay. Whoa. Bobby has been waiting to speak.
Can we take two more questions here?
Yep, just Bobby and then Andrew.
Mr. Mayor, you said you didn't remember it at our last meeting. I'm here to inform you, I'm the gentleman who talked to you in your first election, your first term, about your bodyguard who ran my son over with his headlights turned off, who had been fired from Bloomington Police Department for driving black with his lights off. He ran over my son with his squad car on his bicycle, beat him up, refused him medical attention. And the Civilian Review Board reviewed it, and they didn't find any evidence. And I went back to the Civilian Review Board, and Patty Hughes found these two officers guilty Robert Olson reversed the charges due to lack of evidence because the bicycle that they had hit, that was my son was underneath, was destroyed from the police department. After that time, I had both my dogs shot by Minneapolis Police Department in my yard. I had my taillights knocked out of my car. I got 13 tickets in 3 months. I came back and I talked to you, Mr. Mayor, and I asked if you would quit profiling my house, my children, because my children are children of color, and I live in South Minneapolis, and to this day, your police officers are unapproachable. You cannot even say hi to them without them being smart with you. Throughout this whole movement, I walked with these police officers, and I tried to make decent conversations with them, and all they want to do is harass me and threaten to beat me up and say that I was trying to be a troublemaker when I asked them politely. You know, if they had a moment.
Couple questions, let me just say this.
I'm not done, sir. I don't interrupt you. Please don't interrupt me. I've been waiting 5 years to talk to you about this.
Bobby.
I don't know why your police officers who serve us are rude to us, mean to us, and make us the public enemy. And I'm not talking about Occupy. I'm talking about in South Minneapolis, in North Minneapolis, not at the park, not at the when they come to my house. When I call them, they're rude to me. When they rob my house at gunpoint, and I ask the officers, please, would you do something about it? They say, don't get hysterical because we'll take you to jail. Your police officers are unapproachable. They do not serve the public. They serve you.
Thank you, Bobby. We have one more
The
question.
one thing I do want to be clear, there was an officer who did work security for me, who's a very good and honorable officer who never worked in Bloomington, who had nothing to do with this, so I don't want his reputation to crash.
I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. I get back up and I got records and I got proof and I got court orders.
Bobby Hull is a veteran, please be polite to him.
Yeah, if your son was a police officer and he was just inaccurately told they ran over something, you'd want me to defend him.
No accident, trying to feel like something ran him over on purpose.
I was there Saturday night, and I was documenting with a video camera someone else getting arrested when I was arrested myself. And from my experience that night, the police department and everyone in your office and connected to this assault has proven themselves extremely incompetent, and I'm wondering if you plan on dropping all the charges against the arrestees.
You have a tape that says, that has some information that we could run.
It's on there, and it shows the news people getting their cameras smashed, and then me getting arrested.
Well, in the case of the news camera, we looked at that, and we actually agreed that the officer
Well, I had a camera too,
did
though,
not act.
and I was doing the same thing that guy.
So if you have that information, bring it forward and we'll review it.
What's happening to the officer? You gonna drop all the charges against these people?
Drop the charges.
Yeah, I haven't reviewed, there are many different things.
Are you gonna review it soon?
The chief will review it, because that's his job.
Are you gonna review it?
I'll give it to the chief first to review.
Property destruction isn't appropriate for
Anybody.
mainstream news, nor is it appropriate
I agree.
for civilian news.
Okay, so was there one other question, and then we'll wrap up.
I got media questions.
And if it's the case, we'll look at it.
What I saw when Sam Richards was arrested was multiple officers swarming him and slaying him to the ground. Now, I understand how that might be appropriate if you were arresting somebody that was a physical threat to the officers. By no stretch of the imagination was Sam Richards being a physical threat to the officers. Brutality does not always work like
So we will take a look at that. Unfortunately, I have to get back and do this. So one of the things that we would think is very important is if there are people who have specific incidents, specific acts, I hear one over here and others, can I ask people with specific information we should get to stay over here? And then what we'll do is we'll connect them up with our civil rights department.
Filing a lawsuit for civil rights.
Okay. Well, you obviously can do what you want to on that. All I'm saying is if there's something that should be in our process, we need to know it. We can't fix it if we don't know it. So if there are...
I'm telling you now, in the video on the internet, I'm demanding that you got all the charges.
Thank you, Mayor, for coming out today. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. I think we're done. I think all of our questions.
I'm actually not done. So what's important is, if anybody has any information that they want to bring forward, come over here. Some people may have a low view of our internal affairs or any of these other things I've heard, but the bottom line is, but the bottom line is that if we don't have that information, we can't make a judgment. So if you have information, come over here, we'll work with folks on it, we'll gather it, and we'll bring it together and we'll civil rights. So with that, I want to thank you, and we'll talk to you later.
So,